Good morning, I'm Ms. Deline, and I'm bringing you a daily oracle card. Today's card is called Shock of the New, and it's a beautiful card. You can see this woman's one eye is green, one eye is amber. Her heart chakras are all lit up. It's just, I love the artwork. It's so gorgeous. That alone is inspiring. Shock of the New. What wild, unconventional voice is calling to you? Can you hear it? Is it so different and so unusual it might be hard to decipher, like hearing an unfamiliar language for the first time? It might be hard to discern with great clarity now, but there is an affinity between you and this strangely beautiful newness seeking to manifest. This oracle says there is a stirring at the deepest level within you. Something new will break through, and the process of this birth might be a shock to you. The shock will transform into great joy and a sense of tremendous liberation, but you must bear the strangeness first. That strangeness might be something that rattles your beliefs about yourself and your world, daring you to become more of yourself, more open to where life is leading you, and more willing to be the unique, sacred art crafted by the hand of the universal creator. Nature never shies away from strange beauty. She allows for endless diversity, and her sacred works are often peculiar and stunning. You live within her field of creative grace as a specially created work that also creates. You are being asked to surrender any fear you may have of being seen as exotic, unusual, eccentric, or bizarre. You are being asked to make peace with strange beauty and to let it happen through you in a creative flow. The oracle of the shock of the new comes to you saying the old way is on its way out. You are being invited, dragged, nurtured, and coerced into the new. You can handle it. This oracle brings you guidance. You're about to encounter something new and different in your life. This is helpful. Don't reject it, no matter how small or insignificant or how powerful and life-changing it may seem to be. You are being asked to dispense with your reliance on the past and what have been your tools to navigate life. You have outgrown your old methods. You will have to fly by the seat of your pants, so to speak, as you experiment with new ways to be. Life will show you the way. Remember that, life will show you the way. So this card seems really practical right now in what we're going through globally. We're in this global timeout. This is new to everybody. I have read things about, the Spanish flu, and we've lived through wars and all this kind of stuff, and this is something entirely new and unique, what we're going through right now. So this is the time that also is shifting us into change. I like this part where it says the old way is on its way out. You're being invited, dragged, nurtured, and coerced into the new. So with the new brings change. And sometimes people, they're just like holding on to that way of life, that way that they have been living. If it was good enough for my pappy, it's good enough for me, right? And then there's others of us who just feel like we're being called for something. We're not quite sure what, but we're being called to act and live in a different way. And so this time is kind of forcing us into perhaps paying more attention. I have, there's this great book by Bernie Siegel called, now it suddenly went out of my mind, Love, Medicine, and Miracles. Anyway, and I got to see him speak in public, and he is an amazing human being. And I hope he's still with us. I'm not sure. It's been a long time ago. And so he was an oncologist. He worked with cancer patients, and he saw that he'd have two patients, the same age, the same lifestyle, with the same diagnosis, which, and also the same prognosis, which means the expected outcome. One of them lived and one of them died. And he was so, he struggled with this so much. And so he started studying it, paying attention, taking note. Well, the patient who lived was the one who was willing to make changes, the one who was researching and saying, well, how come I have to take this drug? How about if I do this or whatever? And the one that died was the one that just said, yes, doctor, whatever you say, doctor. So in other words, the one that lived was taking charge of their life, and the one that died was handing their life over to the doctor, basically. And so he also said that the one that lived, he said, we have this little chart note some of us make that we put on a patient's chart, is PIB. And it means pain in the butt. And I love that. So, and what that is that patient that challenges you, that says, but I don't want to do that. Why do I have to do that? And they're the ones that live. So the other thing that he found is, and other reading that I've done and talking to people, I've known a lot of people in my life, and, they've had this inner calling. And they feel this nudge of, I'd rather be doing something else. They get cancer. They get a death sentence, basically, and they're told they have X amount of months to live or years to live or whatever. And they're like, well, I'm dying anyway. I'm going to do whatever I want to do, right? I know there's one person who started belly dancing. They'd always wanted to belly dance. And so they thought, well, I'm dying anyway. Who cares? I'm going to belly dance. They got over their shyness, right? Because it didn't matter anymore. I know someone who was in this really high stress job, and they just left and bought this little place in the country. And I can tell you story after story. And what happened? These people got well. They lived years more. The one that started belly dancing, it's been like 20 years since their diagnosis, okay? And so I've seen healing happen because people listen to their own intuition. They answer that call of the shock of the new. It's not easy. I'm telling you, it's not easy. But as I've said before, everything's temporary. So you have that little voice within you. And like it said, some of you hear it, some of you don't. Some of it is just this little tiny fairy voice that's speaking to you, and you don't know what that is. It's like, whatever. And some of you, it's just like blasting trumpets of pay attention, pay attention. Now is a really great time to pay attention. I mean, what else do you have to do, right? You're stuck at home. And even if you're not stuck at home, it doesn't matter. This is a time when the world is changing. The world is changing right before our eyes. We are living in history. And so we can decide what we're going to do with this newness, right? How are we going to live? Maybe you have this job that you've been quarantined or stay at home, and the business is closed where you've been working and you didn't like it anyway. So, hey, perfect time to research something new or create something new. Paint a mural on your wall. So take this time, and instead of being stressed and anxious and there's going to be a little bit of that no matter what, but focus your energy on creating. This is a wonderful time to create. I make lists, I write things down, I plan. I personally am planning some online classes. And for me, I love the shock of the new, but I'm an unusual human. And I got that way through a lot of adverse life situations, right? Where I know that it's always going to get better. Always. No matter what, it's going to get better. The new is a really good thing, right? I just moved here to this beautiful place on the coast, right? New. Was it easy to move here, to pack all my stuff, to say goodbye to my loved ones where I'd lived for 25 years? No, that was not easy. But I was being called. I followed my calling. I followed that feeling, that intuition that this is where I was supposed to be. I love it here. I feel healthier here. I'm able to sleep well, all those things, right? But I had to go through the strangeness to get to this new place. And now that I'm in this new place, I'm creating a new life. And we can all do that. So this is a time when we're all kind of doing that together. You're not alone. You have lots of company. I love you. Namaste. Enjoy your weekend.